The Arizona Coyotes are in trouble again? Ugh. Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey. Today I'm here with my friend Jason. Thank you very much for joining me, Jason. And we're here today to talk about the situation in the Phoenix area, or the Arizona area, with the Coyotes. It's been pretty much a nightmare since, well, forever. The team has not been successful on the ice, and off the ice it's been the same struggle. They've had attendance situations or attendance problems. They've had owner problems or funding problems, financial problems, and on the ice they've had obviously success problems. They've made the postseason maybe 3 times in the past 20 years. It's really unfortunate, and they're second last in the Western Conference right now. And it's just a really dark time for Phoenix. And the point of today's video is to talk about the status of the team and their arena situation. So, as most people probably know watching this video, Gary Bettman made a statement publicly and a letter to, I think, the city officials or the mayor, maybe specifically. And then he released a few comments to the press and stuff, and he basically said, hockey will not work in Glendale. So the team needs to make a few decisions, and the NHL needs to make some decisions. And from what I understand is that Bettman is looking for public or private partnership for financing for a new arena in either the East Valley or downtown. So I think that's the main goal, is for them to find financing to build a new arena to keep hockey in Arizona. And if that can't happen, then the NHL needs to make that hard decision to relocate the team. And as it stands right now, does the NHL really want to keep Phoenix as an NHL team? I mean, they have the 3rd worst attendance in the National Hockey League this year. So I don't know if you can say that hockey is successful in Phoenix, but when you look at Austin Matthews, who's from Arizona, you have to think that it's having some kind of positive impact on that part of the world or that part of the United States. So, there's pros and cons, but I want to dive in a little deeper to the letter that he sent the mayor, or the words that he used to try and get the funding and stuff, and to the plea that he made. And Jason was kind enough to print off some stuff here. So, Jason, what are your thoughts on this? And can you tell us a little bit about what Gary asked for?
Well, this right here is a copy of the 3-page letter that Gary sent to the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Arizona. And it's quite interesting what he wrote in here. It's actually quite harsh. There's a lot of drama unfolding this week. Back and forth with some people, and there's actually a couple quotes that I wanted to take some time to read here, if you don't mind. And these are just the things that stuck out for me in this letter. And these are quotes from Gary Bettman himself. And this is what he says. It says, "The greater Phoenix region represents a strong hockey market in which we are proud to have included in the NHL. With that said, let me be abundantly clear. The Coyotes' current location in Glendale at the Gila River Arena is not economically capable of supporting an NHL franchise." And I'm going to stop the quote there, because how many times have we heard in the past that Glendale and Phoenix... We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Continuing, it says, "For the past 15 years, a succession of ownership groups in the league have tried everything imaginable to make the Glendale location financially sustainable. Our combined efforts have all yielded the same result, a consistent economic loss." And then he goes on to say that they're not going to stay in Glendale. And then he said, "While representatives of the Coyotes last week met once again with the city of Glendale, nothing offered in that meeting changed the fact that Glendale will not work for the team or for the NHL. While the Coyotes ownership has consistently promised to explore every possible option to keep the franchise in Arizona, no business can afford to be in financial and marketing limbo." So that was he's basically saying, this is a letter to the Senate addressing Bill 1149, which is basically asking the state to donate $170 million to a new arena in a new location, and then the home arena would have to throw up $55 million towards that new location.
So it's kind of a half and half kind of partnership kind of deal.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go over this letter too much. This basically just says the same thing. This is from the ownership of the Coyotes. They released a press release. It's basically kind of the exact same thing, saying that they don't want to be there anymore, even though in the past they've said, 3 or 4 different times that they were going to make it work and they could see it going.
Yeah.
This is where things get a little bit interesting. This is from Elaine Scruggs, who was the former mayor of Phoenix or Glendale, and she didn't hold anything back when she put this out. This came out on the 9th, so this was 2 days after these guys released their press conference. And I'm going to take a little bit here just to read it because I think a lot of it's really good. She says, as the former mayor of Glendale, who had a front row seat for many of the city's dealings with the NHL and the Coyotes, I cannot sit silently as they mislead the Arizona legislator and unabashedly insult the community I love. Mr. Bettman saw a tremendous future for the Coyotes and hockey in Glendale before the city of Glendale and its taxpayers committed $200 million to absorb the initial cost of the arena and construction, and then the full cost of the infrastructure construction in 2002. At that time, Bettman said of the arena, and then I quote, "This is a great place for hockey, and we're thrilled to be here." Upon the venue's opening in 2003, Bettman said, "This building is a major step forward for this franchise, and this franchise wouldn't survive without it." If he is indeed believed Glendale was unsuitable for the NHL, he did not express that opinion in 2010 as he was asking the city to partner with the league, shepherding the ownerless Coyotes through the bankruptcy. That quote-unquote partnership required an annual $25 million salary from the city while the NHL searched for a new owner. In late 2010, a deal seemed to be reaching completion. Bettman said, We believe that the Coyotes and the NHL hockey can be successful in Glendale. The bankruptcy circumstances we went through a year and a half ago, we weren't in position to see things done right." This is where it kind of turns up a little bit here. It was later discovered that the Coyotes had violated state law in hiring Craig Tyndall, the former Glendale city attorney, who had been involved in lease negotiations on Glendale's behalf of the agreement. As a result, Glendale terminated its lease with the Coyotes, which ended in 2015, which also resulted in the team getting $15 million less in arena management. So now Glendale is managing the arena themselves. They say they're doing it at a third of the cost. And ever since that was announced, that's when this new ownership group has been asking for a new arena in a different location. And she goes on to say, a great deal of fast talking and fuzzy math has come from Bettman, Barraway, and LeBlanc, but their message cannot be more clear. In their minds, the Coyotes' lack of success is Glendale's fault. Disregard the fact that the team ranks last in the NHL in hockey spending, continually trades away their top talent, while annually building for the future, and spends next to nothing marketing the team. I will say that what they will not. The Coyotes' position at the bottom of the standings is a leadership problem and not a location problem. The facts are easy to verify. Before the Coyotes moved out of downtown Phoenix, they ranked 29th in attendance out of the league of 30 teams. That's before they were in Glendale. Their first year in Glendale Arena, they ranked 19th in attendance. Attendance stayed in that tier until the floundering team started losing their disappointed fan support. It says, the truth is the Coyotes have a world-class taxpayer-funded arena that is designated for hockey and is only 12 years old. And then she concludes by saying, this will be the 5th consecutive year that the Arizona Coyotes will have missed the playoffs and have been at the bottom of the league in attendance. Bettman would have you believe that the arena locations is to blame while ignoring that the team continually fails to invest on its on-ice performance and properly market itself.
Wow.
So there's definitely...
Those are some interesting words. That's the first time I've
It's definitely true. And if you read the comments from the people who live in Glendale, they're not happy either. And another thing that was brought up was the basketball team is going to need a new arena in 2 years.
Right, yeah.
The other team's going to need another arena in 4 years.
Yeah.
Taxpayers are not going to be putting up this much money, especially when they're a bottom-tier team that aren't spending.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So
and it's a tough situation, and I'm glad that you came on for this video, because this is what you're really interested in. You like the business portion of hockey and stuff. So I'm not so much versed in that world. I'm more of the actual hockey, plays and players and coaches and stuff like that. And I really appreciate you coming on for the business portion. And those were some interesting words. So she really didn't hold anything back there. And
certainly didn't.
She has a very firm stance on the situation. And, all this being said, from the league, from the mayors, and from the taxpayers and whatever, like it's the taxpayers, it's the fans who really suffer here, because they just want a decision to be made, I think. Either way, either the team leaves or gets relocated, they just want a decision to be made.
Like, I can appreciate the NHL's trying to keep a team in a place for their fans.
Yep.
Because you can see, especially in the NFL, they'll move a team no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
The NBA is kind of the same way. But I don't think there's too many people who have been saying all along that they think this will work in the long term. I think this has been a failed project kind of since it started.
Yeah, unfortunately. And you know what? Did the NHL fight to keep Atlanta in Atlanta a few years ago? Nope. Did the NHL fight to keep Winnipeg in Winnipeg all those years ago? They did not. Did the NHL fight to keep the Quebec Nordiques in Quebec? They did not. All those teams moved and went on to new cities, one of them being Phoenix from Winnipeg. And now seems to be the first time that the NHL and or Gary Bettman is half-heartedly trying to keep a team in a city. And Gary Bettman gets a lot of hate, and I'm a part of that train. I bought a ticket for that train a long time ago, and I'm sure there's people out there who love Gary Bettman, and unfortunately I'm not one of those people. I think that he is scum, and I think he's completely untrustworthy, and he's very wishy-washy, and I don't understand why he's trying to keep a team in Phoenix when he didn't make any effort to keep it in Atlanta a couple years ago. And I just don't get it. I personally, for the Phoenix fans, I would love to see hockey do well in there, but I personally think that the team should move, and that like you said, it's a kind of a failed experiment.
The latest update from the Legislative Assembly is this bill will not pass by a mile.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm not sure what's going to happen. Who knows where they could end up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of rumors going around. Quebec City has an arena, and they have an owner, I think, but they don't have. I mean, the Canadian dollar is crap right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's highly unlikely that the NHL is going to want to put a team in Canada right now, just because of the dollar, and that's unlikely to change in the next couple of years. So, I mean, I could be wrong. Quebec could be getting a team in the next couple of years, but I honestly don't see Quebec getting a team for probably at least 5 years. Seattle, I think Seattle has an owner, but they don't have an arena, or the other way around. I can't remember what it is. There's a few other cities. Portland, Oregon has an arena, an NHL-sized arena that's very nice. I don't think they have an owner, but it's an option. And I'm sure there's a few other cities out there. I know Kansas City's
Kansas City was what
interested.
I was thinking of.
Yeah, and
I can't see that happening either. But
no, I'm not sure if they have an owner. And I mean, there's even been rumors of like New Orleans and Cincinnati and Oakland, and there's all kinds of rumors. And it kind of has to be a Western team. The Coyotes kind of have to stay in the West. I don't think we can go back to adding another team to the East. It's just it's too difficult, and it's not fair to the Eastern teams when they have to fight against an extra 2 or 3 teams compared to the West. So it's a really tough situation, and I'm not sure what they should do. But I think it's going to be an interesting next couple of months to see how the NHL handles this, and the city and the owners.
Well, this bill will come through in the next couple of months saying yes or no, and it's going to be no. And then the NHL is going to have to say, because they only have one more year left on their contract.
Yeah, exactly.
So after that year, they're going to have a plan. So
yeah, and I assume that the plan will have to be in place very soon after that, because there's so many things that need to happen. You need to find a new owner, you need to find a new city, you need to find you need to get managers and CEOs and CFOs and all these people in place for a new team, and the staff, and you need to design the logo and the jerseys and get the farm team sorted out. There's so much stuff that has to happen. So it's, like I said, it's a tough situation, but I just feel bad for the Phoenix Coyotes. And the Arizona Coyotes have been in Arizona now longer than the original team was in Winnipeg, which is interesting. So I found that out today, actually. So it's kind of weird to think, but they've been there a long time. So it's a tough situation, but hopefully it ends soon for everyone's sake. And yeah, any final thoughts?
Nope, I think that's just about it. I think Gary Bettman is just a very stubborn man.
Yes, very.
I'll briefly talk about in 2009, Jim Basile, CEO of BlackBerry, came in, said he would buy the team, move it to Canada. The Bettman stepped in, said, no, we're taking control of the team. We'll find new owners. They're not going to be able to do that this time. From the looks of it, they have no choice. They have 1 year on this contract with Glendale. And then when the bill does not pass, they will have to find a new place to play.
Were the owners, or the rest of the owners for the rest of the teams, a part of that decision to say no? Didn't they have to vote or something?
I don't think it's like that in the NHL. I know in football it is. The NFL has like a big board with the main owners on it that decide whether a team can do that. I think it's just the NHL, and I think it's the board that decide.
Okay.
For the NHL, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, he's to me he's a bit of a weasel, and I'm sorry if I've offended you or anyone. If you're a Bettman fan, I'm sorry that I offended you. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just my opinion.
The only Bettman fans are owners.
Yeah, the only Bettman fans are owners. Yeah. There's so many other things I could say about Bettman, mostly negative. So I'll refrain from going any further before I get myself in trouble. But thank you guys very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope that we'll see you again for the next episode. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but we are releasing videos pretty frequently here, every day or every couple days. So we appreciate you coming back. You should hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And Jason, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I hope you're back soon. And we have a few special videos planned, so I think you're really going to like them coming up. So I really hope you hit the subscribe button if this is your first video. And you can find me on social media at Post to Post Show on Facebook or Twitter. And otherwise, leave a comment below and we can have a discussion or anything you want. So we'll see you in the next video. Adios.